What we hear about the disciples on the road to Emmaus was that their hopes were shattered when Jesus was crucified. Things were so bad that when Jesus appeared to them on their walk, they did not even recognize him. Luke only mentions one of those disciples in his gospel, but leaves the other to our imagination. Most likely Mary, Cleopas' wife, who was present at the foot of the cross with Jesus' mother, with Mary Magdalene, and with a disciple Jesus loved, John. They were downcast and grief-stricken. Their hopes were crushed because their leader, their Messiah, their Lord, was dead and buried. In both Matthew's and Mark's Gospels, the disciples are told to head to Galilee, where they will meet the risen Lord. Instead, in Luke's Gospel, both Cleopas and his wife Mary head in the opposite direction, a 4-hour walk to Emmaus. We know what happens to them when Jesus appears on the road and how they recognize him in the breaking of bread. Emmaus is not a story of two unbelievers moved to believe because of Jesus' encounter. Rather, it's a story of dejected, disappointed believers who make an about-face, a U-turn, so to speak, from the path that they're on in Emmaus to head back to Jesus, to Jerusalem, and to their fellow believers. Perhaps what happened to Cleopas and his wife is what we want to happen to us. We want to have that burning feeling in our hearts. We want to hear the voice of God speak to us intimately through sacred scripture. We want to recognize Jesus in the Eucharist. We want to have the enthusiasm, hope, and courage to make an about-face and return to Jerusalem, to Jesus, and to a deeper faith. We want each of us to go through in these difficult times that can cause us dejected and disappointed. Our hope of ever getting back to normal, even if that is even possible, is what many people in different parts of the country are going through now. They're protesting because they want to go back to the normal life, to reopen their businesses and to everyday living like nothing ever happened. Just like Cleopas and his wife Mary, we may feel the absence of the Lord in these past few days and weeks. Just as they returned right away to their fellow disciples for strength and comfort, we need to gather our strength and comfort from one another, even if it's only through a phone call or a video conference. Our homes may be feeling the disappointment of not being outside. Our children may not understand completely what's going on. Our loved ones succumbing to this virus may push us over the edge of despair. Our time together in our homes may cause their own problems, spouses and children fighting with each other. Like the two disciples in Luke's Gospel, we can quickly find out that Jesus is still walking with us, even if it's only in our homes. We can sense this Jesus as we break bread together at the supper table. We can make a moment before we eat to offer a prayer for ourselves, for our family members, for our loved ones, for those not dealing with things so well, for those who have lost family and friends to this virus. Ultimately, we want to not only be able to recount the story of Jesus, but to become part of the story, to become or return to being active, believing, enthusiastic, and faithful disciples of the risen Christ. God bless you all, and be safe.